You know what the best ways to appear like a creep? That is, if you're trying to persuade somebody and you don't have charisma, you don't have charm, and you don't even have the power. Just think about it. If I want to persuade somebody, I don't need to be charming really. I can persuade somebody without using charm. I mean, right now, as of a few hours ago, supposedly, allegedly, there's a 2 week truce between the US, Iran, and Israel, and the Strait of Hormuz supposedly is opening up again. Now, I don't know for how long that's going to last. And I certainly don't know what the negotiations involved. But that's not the point here. The point is simple. Excuse me. The point is really simple here. I just lost my train of thoughts, and that's embarrassing, but it doesn't really matter because the US and Israel persuaded Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz by using force or by using the threat of force, which is fine. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a nice thing, obviously. I'm just saying that's an example of using persuasion through force. If I want to bang a hot girl and I walk up to her and I charm her into taking her home, then I'm using persuasion through charm, which is also fine. Now, if you don't have force or you don't have charm, then you don't really have anything. And if you then try to persuade somebody without charm, without force, you end up being a creep. That's what was happening during a Tennessee school board meeting, where some 59-year-old teacher, said out loud to a high school. I don't know if it was a high school student, but I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt because it just said, the news story just said, a Tennessee school meeting board, which is fine, or a school board meeting rather. I'm going to assume that was a Tennessee high school. And I'm also going to assume, for the benefit of the doubt, that the high school student involved, was a senior high school student who had turned 18. Anyway, here's what happened. So this 59-year-old teacher, said out loud to a high school student, "God, you're hot. Do you know that? What school do you go to?" And guess what? Here's what was even worse. He said it out loud like that in front of the student and her mother, because her mother was also there. I don't know if it was some sort of a parental meeting, whatever. I don't really know. Here's what I do know though. It was as creepy as can be. Obviously, it was inappropriate. And I believe that this man should be relieved of his duties. He shouldn't be working as a teacher anymore, obviously, because he's got these dirty thoughts and he can't restrain himself. He can't help himself. Look, if I'm working as a teacher, if I'm working as a high school teacher, and I'm 59 years old, and I secretly dream about banging my high school students, then I'm not going to say that out loud, of course. No, I'm going to keep it to myself because it's bad and it's wrong. Technically speaking, I don't think it's illegal. But whatever. Even if it is legal, it's very, very inappropriate and very, very bad and very, very unethical and very, very creepy. So, all of this just goes to show you that you can use persuasion without force and without charm, but you end up being creepy. Think about it. I also think about how you want to use persuasion. Do you want to use persuasion through being a creep, or through being a charmer, or through being a force. That's really it. If you want to learn more about persuasion, especially with respect to sales, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.